This is how much has been money laundered with Bitcoin. This is how much. This is Bitcoin. This is dollar.
SEC Chair Gary Gensler gets destroyed on CNBC Live as they argue over Bitcoin.
I mean, I can go run a car into a parade. That doesn't mean we shouldn't have cars.
As Bitcoin's price hits $51,000 and investors give their reasoning as to why Bitcoin's going much higher.
It's a no-brainer on the next ramp to get to 100, 120. And maybe to 170 or 180.
I'll share with you this clip along with some major altcoin news, but just understand in our Bitcoin ETF check-in that roughly 70% of the Bitcoin supply still hasn't moved in at least a year, while the ETFs are now seeing $500 million of inflows a day. And just in, Coinbase International Exchange is now reporting new daily trading volumes of 672 million, meaning the biggest crypto exchange is growing in popularity. And Grayscale, the only known large entity that was selling, those outflows are slowing. You don't need an economics PhD to know what's set to happen next.
You can't go to a train station without seeing a Grayscale ad. I don't know, how much are you spending on ads? You seem to be in a blitzkrieg trying to convince the country that everybody should invest in the Bitcoin ETF. Look, seriously, anywhere I go, I see a Grayscale ad.
ETFs have long democratized investing. They started with S&P 500 exposure 30 years ago. 20 years ago, they brought gold to market. This is another, point of evolution and another point of maturity for the ETF market, bringing Bitcoin to the broadest range of investors in an equitable and transparent fashion.
And most institutions and traditional investors haven't bought yet.
Can you convince advisors to buy Bitcoin? There's a whole big program here right now where you're on a blitzkrieg to try to convince the investment advisory community that it's safe. Gary Gensler fired a broad shot across the bow when he admitted, okay, we lost the Grayscale case, but folks, let me remind you, this is Gensler talking. You were required, if you are an investment advisor, to follow regulation best interest. That has a suitability requirement. That's a warning shot from Gary Gensler saying you, investment advisors, had better be careful about recommending Bitcoin and make sure it's appropriate for the people that you are advising. That seems to be a shot across the bow to you saying you could get sued very easily.
Now let's get to Gary Gensler on CNBC this morning, and we will talk about altcoins. Watch the whole video. But with BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF holdings now surpassing $5 billion, and with all Bitcoin ETFs, inflows now outpacing outflows, this will continue to lead to drastically positive price action, and most people still don't understand a truly scarce asset like Bitcoin.
If you think about anything that there is in the world, higher price will bring in more of it. So if oil was at $500 a barrel, we'd be poking for oil everywhere in the everywhere in the world, and someday it will be there. But corn, I mean, you push up the price of something, and there is a supply response. People make more of it, which then brings the price back down.
It's a free market.
Yeah, free market, right? It's the only thing or commodity ever invented that I'm aware of where a higher price does not affect the supply. The supply is capped. And therefore it's by its very nature deflationary, which is Jeff Booth's point, which fits in with the way the world is going because everything should be trending to zero, as our productivity increases. And, it's just, that's the thing that I think causes, people have to kind of grok that. They got to actually think that through and go, hang on a second, you're right. There's never really been anything like this.
And while we'll finish with Gary Gensler getting destroyed, check the timestamps. Keep in mind that while Bitcoin is bringing in traditional finance, gaming, cryptocurrency is bringing in the masses of everybody else. Will Illuvium be the true pal world of Web3 gaming? I'm ready to catch some alluvials on the open world map. So this will be massive for crypto gaming coming in Q2 2024. Stay subscribed. And actually, many of you were asking me about this. Partner of the channel XCAD may be about to drop something bigger. Our product launch is coming this quarter, along with other huge announcements. However, there will be one which will impact the entire crypto space coming March 27th, very soon. And just understand that XCAD is sort of like a Chili's, or what Chili's did for sports and athletes. XCAD is doing for content creators, watch to earn, and what could be coming on the 27th that could impact the whole crypto space. Well, the most obvious partnership here, which the community has speculated, would be Google, because Google owns YouTube, and XCAD already adds value to YouTube by incentivizing more watch time and more people tuning in, which are huge KPIs that the algorithm cares about. XCAD is already doing that with YouTube. Also, Google's already battling a cultural shift towards short-form content, so anything they can do to stay competitive. So will this be a Google announcement? Or we've also seen X, formerly Twitter, partnering up with different social companies to compete. And one of the things that we did see recently was Elon Musk getting Mr. Beast to upload videos on the X platform. Is this an XCAD integration into X? Would be a big way to incentivize people to consume video content on their platform over YouTube, which we've already seen Elon attempting to do aggressively, offering more monetization for creators that upload their video content to X. Or this announcement could have something to do with Mr. Beast. Popular YouTubers KSI and Mr. Beast have invested in the social network XCAD. That was years ago. This may be a continuation of some sort. And of course, another potential on the flip side of Google would be that TikTok integrates the XCAD network to incentivize viewing and retention on their platform, also very possible. So again, you tell me what you think down below. Is it TikTok? Is it Google? Is it X? Is it Mr. Beast? Is it something else? Keep your eyes on XCAD into March, and when any big crypto updates happen, like always, I'll keep you updated. And of course, now it's all been building to this. CNBC anchor calls out SEC Gary Gensler on live TV about his inaccurate criticism of Bitcoin.
Jamie Dimon say that he would close it down, that basically Bitcoin is, you've seen the comments, right? It's not just that he closed down, that he would say it's used by drug dealers and used by folks who are doing all sorts of illicit and terrible things. There's very few things that trade today that people talk about like that. Now, there are obviously frauds and things that happen, but maybe not like this.
Like the dollar is like 100 times more.
Well, I know that's your perspective, but I'm just, I'm curious how you think about that.
That's true, though. This is how much has been money laundered with Bitcoin. This is how much, this is Bitcoin, this is dollar.
Yes, Joe, look, here's the Jamie Dimon quote. The only true use case for it is for criminals, drug traffickers, money laundering, and tax avoidance. I know, but we have a guest.
That's his opinion.
We have a guest, Joe. What is your opinion? And what is your opinion that we have something trading on the exchange for the public that has this type of use case, at least as described by the president of one of the largest financial institutions in the country?
It's the leading market share in ransomware, and that's publicly known.
Right.
It's the token of choice for ransomware.
And this is where Gary Gensler starts to push.
Joe, if I can say, the US dollar, the euro, the yen, you have the whole society using it as a medium of exchange. We buy our cups of coffee, as I see here. Right. We get paid in dollars or yen or euro. And you have a whole central bank and support for one currency generally per economic region. That we don't have here. So there is a very real economic difference.
Which is part of the attraction, since it's decentralized, and you can't have a profligate central bank.
It's not that decentralized, Joe.
Well, I know you're saying because of the ETFs, but really it is.
No, it's
for
not
DeFi
that decentralized
and everything.
because look how finance tends towards centralization since antiquity.
Right.
So what do we have? We have a handful of 3 to 6 core so-called crypto
I understand,
exchanges.
but the asset itself, the way that
That's how the
distributed
accounting
ledger, right? That's how the ledger. And
now, how many times do you have people on this show that say, "I want to invest in something because how the books and records are kept"? I mean, Joe, really? It's just an accounting ledger. It's
a ledger that everyone has, and can't be double counted. It's almost immutable. That's why people think it has inherent value.
So you trust it more than an Oracle database, or you trust it more? I trust it more than a lot of
the Bitcoin bulls say they trust it a lot more than the central bank that enables the fiscal authorities to spend money to the tune of $33 trillion.
That's everybody's investment choice, but
and then I think about how many things can be used in a deleterious way. Of course, but that has nothing to do with the underlying thing that you're using itself. I mean, I can go run a car into a parade and run over 40 people. That doesn't mean we shouldn't have cars. Does it?
No. You should have cars.
I wasn't going to use guns because, God, I don't want to trigger, so to speak, anyone on the set. But
when the use case of a particular thing that you're buying and selling as an investment is just speculative investment.
How many of the 90% of the people that own Bitcoin are using it for ransomware? There must be another use case that makes it so attractive to so many people.
Speculative investing.
Right. Speculative investing. That's what. Okay.
Now, maybe this debate on Bitcoin will never be solved, although the market's proving Gary wrong in real time. But I liked this question from Andrew Ross Sorkin.
Let me ask a separate question, which is just to pivot this, because I think the next sort of order event question is what happens to Ethereum. For those in the crypto world, they all want to know how you're thinking about that. And really, if Ethereum is a security, how does that analysis differ from how you would think about Bitcoin?
What we did in January was cabin to one set of filings. We have other filings, you're absolutely right, in front of us, but I'm not going to prejudge it for you or the audience. That's something that a 5-member commission.
This is an ongoing story. Click subscribe. We are so close to 1.4 million people tuning in to learn about crypto. Like always, see you tomorrow.